You're walking away from a conversation and your brain is already replaying it. Not the big moments, the small ones. The 3 times you said sorry, once when you asked a question, once when someone else bumped into your chair, once when you laughed too loud and caught yourself, and the apology came out before you even knew your mouth was open. You're standing in the hallway now thinking, why do I keep doing that? I'm Sarah, and that apology isn't what you think it is. It's not a habit. It's not insecurity. It's something much older, and it's been running without your permission for a long time. You say, sorry when you need something. Sorry to bother you. Sorry, quick question. Sorry, could I just? You say it when someone else is upset, even when you had nothing to do with why they're upset. You say it when you take up space, when you speak in a meeting, when your food order is wrong and you need to send it back. You say sorry for being in the way when you're standing exactly where you're supposed to be. And here's the thing that probably confuses you the most. You can see yourself doing it. You can hear the word leave your mouth and think, I didn't need to say that. But the next time the moment comes, the sorry is already out before your brain has finished deciding whether you did anything wrong. That's because this isn't a choice you're making. It's a reflex, and the reflex is faster than you're thinking. I want to name something about you before we go any further. The person who apologizes this much is not weak. They're someone who became extraordinarily skilled at reading the emotional temperature of every room they walk into. You can feel a shift in someone's mood before they've said a word, a tightened jaw, a half-second pause, a change in how someone is breathing. You register all of it in real time, constantly, and you respond before the other person even knows they sent a signal. That's not a flaw. That's an incredible amount of emotional processing happening below the surface. All day, every day. Most people don't have that resolution. You do. But here's what it costs. You haven't had an unmonitored conversation in years. Part of you is always tracking, always scanning, always running a background process that asks, is this person okay with me right now? And the apology is what fires every time that scanner returns a result that even slightly resembles no. Not because you're guilty, because your body decided a long time ago that someone else's displeasure is your emergency. Think about the last time you said sorry for something you didn't do. Not the word, the moment right before it. There's a sensation in your chest, a tightening, a brace. Your eyes flick to the other person's face. Something in their expression shifted. Maybe their brow, maybe their tone dropped half a register. Maybe they went quiet for 1 second too long. And your body, before you've had a single conscious thought about what just happened, has already classified that micro shift as a problem, your problem. What's happening in that moment is something called neuroception. It's your nervous system's way of scanning for safety and threat below the level of conscious awareness. Everyone's nervous system does this, but yours is calibrated to an extraordinarily fine setting. A neutral face registers as disapproval. Silence registers as withdrawal. Someone being tired on a Tuesday afternoon registers as something you caused. Your scanner isn't broken. It's too precise. It's detecting signals that aren't threats, and it's treating every one of them as if they are. And then the cascade starts. The scanner flags a potential threat. Your body braces. The fawn response activates, which is your nervous system's version of make this person feel better as fast as possible so the danger passes. The apology fires. The other person's face softens, because that's what faces do when someone apologizes. And your body logs that softening as confirmation. The strategy worked. Threat neutralized. That confirmation is the trap. Because now your nervous system has one more data point that says, apologizing keeps you safe. The loop tightens, the reflex gets faster, and the threshold for what counts as a threat drops lower and lower until you're apologizing for existing in a room where someone looked tired. That scanner wasn't always this sensitive. Someone calibrated it. Think about the house you grew up in, not whether it was good or bad. Think about the weather. Was there one person whose mood set the temperature for everyone else? A parent whose silence meant the whole evening was different? A caregiver who didn't yell, but withdrew, and whose withdrawal felt like the ground tilting underneath you? In that environment, you did something brilliant. You figured out that the fastest way to stabilize the room was to take ownership of the emotional climate. whether or not you had anything to do with it changing. You became the person who adjusted, who smoothed things over, who said sorry not because you'd done something wrong, but because the word itself was a kind of thermostat, a way to bring the temperature back to the setting where everyone could function. That worked. It genuinely kept things calmer. And because it worked, your nervous system filed it as essential operating procedure. When the room shifts, you fix it. When someone is uncomfortable, that's your job. When there's tension, you are the one who absorbs it. The rule is still running. Every room you walk into, your body is still scanning for the same weather patterns it tracked in that first room. Your coworker's neutral expression gets processed through the same system that once monitored whether it was safe to make noise after school. The stakes feel identical to your nervous system, even though your conscious mind knows they're not. And here's the contradiction at the center of all of this. You apologize to keep people close. But every time you say sorry for something that wasn't yours, you move a little further from yourself. The thing that's supposed to protect the connection is quietly dissolving the person on your side of it. You're so focused on making sure everyone else is okay that no one in the room, including you, knows what you actually feel. I want you to think about all the things you've said sorry for that were never yours to apologize for. Every time you swallowed what you actually wanted to say and offered an apology instead. Every opinion you softened into a question. Every need you framed as an imposition. Every moment where the real sentence was, "I'm upset," or "that hurt," or "I disagree." And what came out was, "sorry." Those weren't small moments. Each one was a place where you could have been fully present, fully yourself. And instead you stepped aside to make room for someone else's comfort. You've been doing that so long that the stepping aside feels like breathing. And the version of you who might have stood still, who might have said the actual thing, has been waiting so long to speak that you've almost forgotten what their voice sounds like. I want you to know what it took to become the person you are. You taught yourself to read rooms before you were old enough to understand what you were reading. You took on the emotional weather of grown adults and made it your responsibility to manage, and you did it so well that no one ever thought to tell you it wasn't your job. That took a kind of vigilance that most people will never have to sustain. You're allowed to stop making yourself smaller so that other people don't have to feel uncomfortable. Not because the apology was wrong, but because you deserve to hear what comes out of your mouth when sorry isn't the first word. Thanks for watching. If any of this resonated with you, or even if it didn't, I'd genuinely love to hear your take, so drop a comment below and tell me how you feel. And if you'd like more videos like this, a like and subscribe really helps the channel grow. I appreciate you being here. See you in the next one.